Hey, what's up? Welcome back, and we're back once again. This time, oh my god, a new idea. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm starting a new company, and we're selling a new product. It looks like this. It comes in a clear little container, and I think it's going to be a little bit salty. Oh yeah, that's the stuff right there. Woo! I think if I drink all that, it's going to be, I might even get drunk. Tech Guys Tears, ladies and gentlemen. It's free to collect. All you have to do is you go under a high rise, like one of these really nice tall buildings downtown in a big city. And while they're crying outside because they lost their jobs, they're crying so much that I just go around and I put a bunch of these on the floor, and they all just get filled by the morning. And then I come and fill them up, and we are starting to sell these. They're going to be amazing. Of course not. All joking aside, yeah, a lot of people crying about tech, right? It's pretty crazy what the comment section looks like in the first video, and actually all three videos I must have definitely hit something, right? I would like to say that there's a huge announcement, at least in my life, and this channel is about me, so there you go. I've come full circle finally, and in the past, I want to say 1 year, 11 months and some change, I've put a lot of people through hell in my life because I just couldn't let go of the fact that I'm in this business and I need to get back in the business, you know, just working full time. I think I've come, I know I've come full circle yesterday. I wanted to kind of walk into how I got there and what the rest of my life is going to be like, because a huge weight came off my shoulders. And if you're maybe dealing with this situation, maybe it could help you. Otherwise, if this isn't interesting, we will see you in the next one. So yesterday it was. Today I woke up a different man. I woke up so much lighter, so much less clouded in my head, so much less guilty. I felt like guilt over not being able to get the job and all this. And just to come to that full term of realizing this is it. I've had enough. I've given it a shot. Maybe that's what it was. Like, part of it is just that I needed to give it a fair shake. Just something that I could say, I tried, and if I fail, that's one thing. That's totally fine. But if I don't try hard enough, failure is, I can't deal with failure unless I know that I tried. And I know I did. Just looking at the next, foreseeable short future, things are only going to get weirder and weirder in this business. I have zero interest in coding anything AI or training AI or working with AI at all. Completely turned off by the idea of it. I don't even want to hear that being tossed around. So there's nothing I can really do in it, and I don't have any interest in it. So I'm looking for lateral moves. I wanted to build a little context on how I even got here because, and we're going to read some great comments. Some people like to think that maybe, I've had this coming and I deserve it or whatever. I want to paint you guys a picture of why I'm here and how I got here, because I'm kind of a chameleon. I've turned into different things in my life. I think this would be like, I'm closing on chapter 4, I could say, in my life. And I've done very different things in the past. So when I say I've been in tech for 14, 15 years, that's really just the start when I started doing video semi-professionally at first, right? Part-time. So I still had another job. I switched over from construction related field, and I was also DJing. That was also kind of a part of my life when a couple years of just nothing else but DJing, making music. These are all stages in people's lives, right? I'm sure you guys have your own. I had one weird trait that I think I took advantage of my whole life, is that I wasn't too scared about jumping into something completely new and different and just immersing myself into it. I love to learn. That's one of the things I just love. I love if something's interesting to me, to the point where I just want to know more about it. There's nothing anyone can do to stop me from learning more about it. I will acquire the piece somehow, and I will take it apart, and I will learn it that way. There's little anyone can do from stopping me. So even a very challenging field, let's say like animation or doing just CG projects, the learning of the applications, the terminology and all of that is very weird or different from like construction, right? There's not much that kind of goes from one to the other. But it's not so different from music production because you have kind of the similar features in the applications, keyframes, whatever. You kind of learn how to whip a DAW or like work in a digital audio workstation. You can transfer some of that knowledge over to some other applications that do visual things because like some of the features of the programs are the same. Maybe that made it a little bit easier, but I generally always had this lightweight approach to things, and partially because I don't have a child that depends on me. I don't have a girlfriend even at the time or any kind of person that needs to put up with me. So I'm just very nimble and I'm single as hell. So that way I can just do whatever I want. I'm just a bachelor for life. That maybe gave me an advantage as well. So moving into this business 14 years ago, that was at first just doing EDM nightlife, doing production work, getting my feet wet with video. As like some of the comments allude that, I'm lazy and I don't work anything. I've worked physical jobs my whole life. I'm not just sitting in a studio, and there's nothing wrong with either one of these. I don't know. Some people just really have something up their butt about people working on computers. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth at all. I was born very poor in Hungary. It took me 18 years to finally get papers in the United States. I've struggled my whole life. I've worked really, really hard in very dirty fields. My first job that I got paid for in the United States was digging a septic tank in Palm Springs. And one day maybe I'll tell that story because it was quite a story. But look, I was 17. I was young and I wanted to make money, and I did it in any way that I could. And I've done that my whole life. And so people calling me out for being lazy, brother, sisters, whatever you are, you don't know me. You don't know me. So that's why it makes me smile. It makes me laugh. But after the 4 years of EDM nightlife, I've learned enough animation and video and I had to move. I had to get out of Las Vegas. I had enough of it. I can't be in Las Vegas too long because I don't like that place. And when I came to Austin, I opened my little company. And of course, I didn't start like working with video and animation. I needed to get new gear. I needed to build computers for it. I needed to get cameras. There's so much you need to get into the video business. So I just got like a very bottom of the barrel job, just like in a supply department in a wholesale place. But every day after I went home from work, I practiced, I studied, I looked up tutorials, I taught myself, I was learning more and more how to do this design, logo, all these things that I kept learning because I was so passionate about it, right? And that I eventually would transition out of my job packing boxes or dealing with clients like wholesale clients, and I would eventually be able to get like a logo job for $600, create a logo pack for a company. And that's great. That was actually my first job. Somebody hired me to create a logo pack, vectorized logo, regular black and white on black, different colors, stylized, whatever. The whole little pack, I sold it for $600. It was kind of a nightmare project. But over time, I was able to first just work part-time because I had enough clients, and then I was doing my company full-time, but I never really made great money with my company because I had small clients. Here and there I had the larger client come in, but I wanted to give you guys an example. If you work for yourself or even a small company in any higher role, you know that you have to be very careful accepting larger projects when you don't have enough resources, because when you're just a one-stop shop and a job comes through that's 15 grand and it looks like you can do it, and everything looks good about it, you're okay about accepting it. Maybe you can just hire a contractor on the side to help you if anything's wrong. that's a huge risk for you as well, because unless you're getting the money up front or you're having to put in so much time into that project while nothing else is bringing in money, you're kind of putting all your eggs into this client and this one basket. Anything happens to that job, I mean, God forbid, you know, the client passes away or like anything happens, they just change their minds and they're like, hey, if they didn't give you a kick down payment or like an upfront payment, then you're invested in it too, and you might be 3 weeks into working a project, you haven't got your first check yet, and then they cancel on you. Now you're SOL, my friend, because you can't count on the money that you're making until it's in your bank, right? So sometimes for a $15,000 project, you have to pay 2 rents by the time you get it done and you get your final check. So on both sides, it's a bigger investment. So one of those can totally tank you and get you like down to bare bones bankruptcy levels, right? Where you have to go back to your old job because now you can't even make ends meet because you've been working on something and they pulled out. So there was a lot of school of hard knocks. Yeah, it's a tough place, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed learning. And there was more and more clients that kept coming back. Basically, with my company, it was all tiny return clients that got me just enough to pay the rent this month and like a little more. And I was content. I was doing what I love to do finally. I wasn't having to pack 24 tons of travertine onto the 18th floor of the Turnberry Towers in Las Vegas. I could sit in my place, which I make as nice as I want, charge honest money for the customers, good. You know, we're both making honest work here and work away at my pace and make customers happy. I loved that. That was fulfillment for me enough. And that was a really good time, even if I didn't make great money. Sometimes when the money was good, y'all, we're all different, but I enjoyed my money. I spent it on experiences. I didn't only buy this stuff around me. I'm not so much about just things. I like experiences. I went on vacations. I finally saw some of the world. I spent it on, and I also like to spend on others. I like to give. I'm kind of like, I just like the feeling over time as I've gotten older. I've learned to like a lot more giving than receiving. So I also like to surprise my friends, my family members, buy them stuff. And I don't know, we're all different. The 14 years I put into like this business, meaning like video, CG, animation, that's basically been the longest chapter of my life doing the same type of thing, is coming to an end. And I'm so happy about it because in the past year, I've put a lot of people in my life through hell. Some at first unknowingly, and some now in the past 5-6 months, even a relationship, because I was so overwhelmed by my guilt and just like that I can't get a job in this field, kind of like the jobs I used to have, or even a startup or something like that, that I felt like I didn't try hard enough. I felt like I failed. But now I can see that it's not my fault. I don't feel like it is. I think I'm totally serviceable. The jobs I apply to, if I actually could get into the interview process, I'm sure like 90% of it I would nail and get hired because I know my stuff. I think I'm pretty good with people. I'm respectful. I know how to communicate. I think I have most of the things they want, but I'm just the tech business kind of broke my will. I just don't feel good enough I don't even think it deserves me, basically, right? I don't think that spot is for me anymore. I think the next couple years is going to be a huge awakening for a lot of people. There's going to be a lot more tears, and I think we need to kind of get prepared for that. And maybe we can still, it's not like I'm not going to work on this channel anymore, but I don't want this to be about just AI and the business like that. You'll see there's going to be some cool stuff coming here, but I don't want to make this channel only about that. It would be nice to get this channel going about solutions and getting people getting people some help in how to deal with or where to move to next, even just by telling each other our stories of what happened to us, how did we get out of this field because we couldn't get hired. Everything's moving over to the internet, IoT and everything. So I think there's plenty to do in those fields. There's a lot of lateral moves you could kind of make into other things. It's a huge burden off me, and it's a big weight off my shoulder just to even tell myself. And I don't know, you call me weird for this, but I like to go to sleep at night knowing that I wasn't a piece of to somebody, or I like to have a clean conscience at night. Making a lot of money is not that appealing to me as far as getting this like generational wealth or anything like that. I think I'm pretty content with the money that I can make, and just to reach that level of life that I'd like to live. Nothing extravagant, and I think I have a good path. I see that going forward. And so I don't have to put everybody in my life through complaining, and more complaining when I live in this. And that's all I talk to everybody about. And I can totally understand that they are fed up with me. And so here I am doing it on YouTube, right? Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna come on here every day just to complain. We can all do that. And I told that in the last video. I think all of my videos, I say that I would like to end this with a good idea out of it, like a good positive outcome, a solution, something that we can all work towards. And I'd like to do that in every video. That's why I'm here. So now let's jump into some comments, because I love these. I love these comments. I love these comments, especially the negative ones. When you see, there was a time in my life when I was scared of comments on the internet, especially negative comments, and it would stay with me for days. I would like think about it. Like, I generally had this thing. I think with age this changes, but I had this thing that I wanted everyone to like me, and if you didn't like me, oh my God, I was like devastated by that. And with age that changes, and thankfully I'm fully comfortable about being myself. I'm comfortable in my shoes. I can say that I love myself. I'm not destroying myself in any way. There's so many stories in these, but yeah, you learn to kind of be okay with who you are. But with that said though, I learn a lot about the negative comments because it gives me a different perspective, like a different look. If you get something done one day, you have this like home project that you made, and you show your mom and your best friend who's not in that field, what are they gonna say? Oh, great work, good stuff, man, I love it. But you don't really learn from that. Maybe you get a little bit of, feeling good about it, but not much information comes out of that. But when someone looks at it and says, you know what, it's all right, but I've seen better. I mean, well, look at that thing, and it's all this like that. You learn a lot from that because maybe they have a valid point. So with that said, let's look at SK8 VODs or skate VODs over here saying, learn to adapt. There's a reason why you're unemployed. I know somebody making over 200K monthly coding with AI working for himself. Time to position yourself better. And then they kind of go into, I don't know, at 9 minutes. I guess at 9 minutes, here's a perfect example of why you're broke, no job, and there's people using this technology making more money than you've ever made in your job working for any other man. Skilled Trades 1000, I'm pretty sure I know what kind of business you're into with that AI. Skate VODs, exactly. I have so many tech jobs automated for side income. It's basically free money for 1 hour of work per week. You have some AI bot training something, or you have like an AI chatbot you sold to somebody. Cool. You're in the field of AI. You're making stuff in it. Awesome, man. Good stuff. Keep it up. Hopefully you could keep doing that. And one day these tools won't just take that away from you. But yeah, it's just side money, right? It's just free money. So honestly, if I can't make myself go. And I just don't think any of this is ethical or good. It's just like, you couldn't pay me enough money right now to get into crypto because my brain would shut down, and it's like my brain would just be like, dude, what are you doing, man? I almost worked for some crypto losers, and they wanted to rip me off the moment that we talked about numbers or business. anything in the crypto and AI world is the same to me. It's junk, it's trash, it's slop, it's unethical, it's horrible. So no thanks. If the cost for it is, one way that I could generate some side income is if you have a good computer and you wanted to jump on a render network. The render network is like this network where you can render for people that are rendering animations online, and you put your computer on the network and it's just chugging away, and you can maybe generate some render tokens out of that, which then you can sell. Good, man. If you want to work crypto or AI, this is not impressive to me, and go ahead and enjoy that money. I don't know what to say. Here we have Janice G616. Many people who studied or worked in tech were not passionate about tech. It was very easy to get entry-level job, do a minimum not to get fired, and easy to get a new job in case you did less than the minimum. What Janice is kind of alluding to here is, I will try my luck electrician trade, and previous IT skills can be transferred in home automation, alarm systems, etc. Right, so I think moving laterally to some other field that has some parts of the previous field you were in, then you can utilize those skills and move over. I think that's a really good idea. You ain't lost enough, bro. Not until you're sitting on the side of the road after a night of camping. I had my half-stack guitars, boxes of clothes, tools, and whatever the hell else I jammed into my truck. So yeah, Bleeding Fingers N3Q is playing this game all the way down. I mean, I hope I'm not gonna be camping anytime soon, even though I do love camping, but I don't want to camp every day. Hopefully things don't get that far. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say, man. I ain't lost enough, bro. The thing is, why that's really interesting now in this context is because I'm not ever gonna be that lost. If I couldn't let this go like I just did in these couple days here, I think I would have gone down all the way down to that level, because I can't get another job because I need my resume to say this and I need that next job to be. If I really held myself that hard to the tech world, maybe I would let myself get that deep and I would go down. And yeah, I'm not gonna lose everything. I've lost enough. I'd just say I lost enough. Machine learning is just as much as I can never say this word, anthropomorphization as artificial intelligence. They are statistical models. Okay. So I guess, yeah, like we can have a semantic talk about like what intelligence is. Can you apply that to AI? But you know what? I have a way better name for AI, as they're calling it AI, right? Or machine learning. I think we should reuse a term that we forgot from a long time ago. Not actually that long ago, but we used to have these things called answering machines, right? Where you would call somebody on their landline and they would have a little phone doodle. They would have like a digital later, but at first it was tape recording somebody's message that they leave. Now on the cell phones we call that voicemail, but it used to be called answering machine. And you know what? We could just make AI called answering machine. That would be such a more fitting word for it, don't you think? I think the root cause of the problem is positive interest rates. In the past, when rates were negative, companies were given money for free to grow. Now they are contracting because of the easy money dried up. Username Q4I5D. I think that's a part of the problem, obviously. I don't know too much about the finance sector, but I do know that when the Fed gets the interest rates lower, then of course money is easier to borrow or cheaper to borrow, so a lot more people will borrow money, and so they will use that to start businesses. Absolutely. Forensics with Matt says, my AI professor says not to ask AI nicely because it makes it expend resources, especially ChatGPT. I saw this too. I saw a couple articles about this that I believe Sam Altman said that they spend millions of dollars per month or per whatever portion of time because people say please and thank you to these AI models, and that is wasting some resources. I would like to say that sounds like a big load of bull to me, because just knowing how the first thing that these models do, or these applications, this software does, is it'll look and tokenize words. It'll look at words and groups of words and like punctuation to look at this and tokenize it. And at that point, if there's a word in there that is like just a connector word, or like there's an A, like a table, if there's no value for that, I would think it would be discarded before it goes through a bunch of the computation for no reason. I can't see why that would not be the first thing that they do, since they're simplifying what they need to push through. They need to get rid of all the fat, and I think please and thank you would be definitely part of that fat. I agree that I saw that as well, but I think forensics with Matt, I think that's probably just another example of Sam Altman talking out of his ass. I call this adventure-driven development on my channel. I have a series about it, says Chris Athenas. Thank you, Chris. I've seen your channel. I've subbed to you as well. Welcome, and thanks for commenting. I also know the contrast, and I'll mention that as well right now. The contrast in my video has been horrible, and also the sound quality in one or two of them. I'm working on all that. Sorry, y'all. I sometimes record these videos in the middle of the night. I don't have enough lighting yet. I'm going to move things around. It was just a very fresh idea. And when I've been working, 16, 18 hours in a row, I've been up for that long. Sometimes I get in, I spend a couple hours trying to record a video in a couple takes, or, 3 takes. And sometimes by the time I get into even editing and like releasing it, I'm a zombie, y'all. Like, I'm literally sitting here falling asleep. I can't see. So yeah, sorry. I will try to do better, and the videos will be better. I promise. Thank you, Chris. I also wanted to say, I'm always down to have any collaboration, or maybe getting a conversation going on the same video. I'm looking to collab with other YouTubers on topics that we share. Ernesto Vasquez Chobi 1000 says, there are still plenty of jobs. Who do you think supports all those servers around the world? The jobs are there, just not in America anymore. There's been another couple of comments about this, and all I'm gonna say is, everything here on this channel, I try to filter my opinions or my things. Of course, we all talk about our experiences in the world of like all these sources we're getting information from, right? But I think things that I experience in real life, in the real world, right, with my own eyes, are more valuable to me than what I read on the internet, because like any of that could just be BS. But when I see it with my own eyes, I believe it more, right? I think that's pretty normal still, right, in 2025. And one thing that I've seen is where I live is a very tech, it's a center of tech here in Austin. It's actually called Tech Ridge. And there's Apple right next to me, Meta, Google, Microsoft, Dell is right here. Literally all their headquarters are right freaking here. When Meta recently opened their big thing, my entire apartment complex changed into, now it's the foreign land. Nobody speaks English here. Everybody's a foreigner. And when I drive rideshare, which I do sometimes at this point, I've picked people up from right here and taken them to Social Security office because they just got off the plane. So, there are people being shipped in from other countries, and I'm taking them to Meta, to Google, to Microsoft. The thing is, I would hate to work at any of those places personally, but they are being brought in here from what I see, and I think they're getting half the money we used to get. We meaning like residents and citizens that used to work there. So legally, I don't know enough about this. How is this happening? But I definitely think that ethically, that's horrible. And if I was king for a day, I would probably change that in a heartbeat, because that's really bad for everybody. I think that's bad for the the workers coming from overseas are getting less money than they deserve, or anyone doing that job. So they're being used there. And then when they're at their job and they behave badly, they don't just get, if they mess something up, they don't just get fired, they get deported back to their country. So they have to behave, and they're kind of held hostage, I believe. That's a really bad environment. And then the other thing is, if you have all these courses in school to go through and get educated in a field, and then you can't get hired in that field because everyone in that field is using foreign workers, and nobody domestically is getting hired, I would think that that would be bad for schools, students. I mean, all these citizens here are without a job, and these companies are able to hire from overseas. I think that's really messed up. I mean, honestly, don't you think that's horrible? What do we do about that? I have no clue. I don't know. Start another tech company and don't hire your citizens. That's pretty upsetting, and I don't know, y'all. That's part of the reason why I decided I want out, because I don't want to deal with any of this. It's been so stressful that I lost myself. I lost who I was. I've been such a happy guy and just love to have fun, and I lost that because I was always stressed out, because of these things. And now that I let go of it, it sucks. It sucks. I really feel for people, man. To Thy Port 8080 here says, look, tech has been massively overvalued for 30 years. Over the past 3 years, investors finally realized tech's true value. They don't need huge tech teams, and it's 100% true. All we are seeing is a correction. Data center is somewhat hot right now. Of course, if you aren't in the game already, it's probably too late. I appreciate the sentiment, but I don't think it's realistic or good advice to make something yourself either. That's almost certainly a total waste of time. Wow, that's quite a handful here that To Thy Port says. Well, let's look. Massively overvalued, what does that mean? I have no clue what you're talking about. If you think Google is overvalued, I think you're insane. If you think OpenAI is overvalued, I think you're absolutely right, or Tesla. But I don't think Google and Microsoft, they're not overvalued per se. And I don't think this is a correction, man. This is exactly happening because big business wants to save money because they see that AI can replace all these jobs. So they're just pulling the trigger. They don't like people. They don't care about people. They never did. They care about bottom money, bottom dollar, right? So they just see an opportunity. They will cut costs at any cost, at all costs. And if the AI can do the job even just as good, or even maybe a little worse than a human, I think they'll still get rid of the human, because saving money and shareholder value is what the name of the game is. And that's what they're doing. It's all just business. Who cares about your job or benefits or family? Nobody. These business people never did. Even when they pretend to do, they don't. So that's one of the reasons I hate that whole area of, I could never be a big tech CEO. I just care too much, and call me whatever you want for that. We're all different, but I like to go to sleep at night knowing that, you know what, in my little bubble, I wasn't a piece of to me, that's an important thing. And so to some, money is way more important. That's why they have more of it. They have no ethics, or they have no reason to turn the money down, so they do it. That's it. I don't know what you're talking about, massively overvalued. And about the not making anything, what a flattening comment, huh? Not making anything, my friend, I don't know if you've ever been inspired in your life, It's almost certainly a total waste of time to make something yourself. Well, I don't think I would have any fun having lunch with you, my friend, because you seem completely uninspired, and with an attitude like that, there's definitely nothing that could be ever made. Rotten Egg Concept says, this is so true. I was starting to look for a YouTube alternative. The ads are going on 2 minutes. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, y'all, that we have to deal with this on such an unshittified platform as well as YouTube here. all I can do is try to see if you can put in some money for YouTube Premium, because ever since I got YouTube Premium, I cannot, even if I accidentally go to YouTube on a browser I'm not logged in on, I have to close it. I can't see YouTube. I can't watch those ads. I just don't even recognize the website. It's full of like malicious ads. It's so bad that I can't not use YouTube Premium. So I would highly recommend it. This channel is not monetized, so whatever kind of ads you see on there, Google's making money off that. It's not my ad money. And even when I do become partnered, or if I ever do, I'm not really a big fan of like loading my videos up with ads. I just don't think, like, it's not even worth it with the ad revenue that you get off the videos. So I'm sorry you have to deal with ads. And that'll cover it. That was the most interesting comments. There were some repeats. And of course, if you commented, thank you so much. And I always welcome any and all ideas. This channel is still going to become whatever it's going to become slowly over time, which I have no idea. I want to have more interesting things on this channel besides like dealing with tech and AI. But I think now it is an important time to give our stories to each other, maybe tell each other how we deal with losing our job or getting unemployed, or like having to use AI when that devalues your work or makes it less enjoyable. And how do you take where you are? What kind of steps do you take? So, and how do you get out of it? I think everybody's stories of how they deal with this, or what I just said, and what this channel is about so far, we can learn from each other. So one of the most valuable things I think I can do right now is everyone sharing their comments and well, pretty soon we could take it to Discord as well. Discord is coming soon. I know I said in the last video it's coming now, but we're still working on it. I just would like to create an environment where people can share their stories and learn from each other, or get inspired, or get ideas, a little think tank of hope and ideas, because I think the resources are pretty scarce right now. Everybody is kind of up in the air. There's a lot of doomer content out there. It's easy to get discouraged. It's easy to get depressed about this. And if we can maybe have an area of the internet that isn't like that, or is hopeful, or is basically ideating and bringing up new ideas, I think that's a positive thing. And if we can get something out of it, there's power in numbers as well. Like if there's definitely some numbers on this channel, eventually we can all get inspired and do something bigger than just our individual parts, right? Let's think about 1,000 people having a little bit of time after work every day. But I think we can get a lot done, and we can get a lot of effort, even if we're just doing it on our free time. And I think there's a lot of great things we can do on this channel. So all right, so that'll do it for me today. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy the rest of my product here, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, peace.